Hi everyone, and welcome to the another fun TLN event, our Gleaners Food for Thought campaign kickoff. Today I have Bob Erland and Brian Sewell to talk a little bit about Gleaners Community Food Bank and the campaign that we have going on with the library network and libraries in the area. So from there, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, DJ. We so appreciate y'all having us and all of the response that we've gotten so far on the this year's Food for Thought campaign. It's one that we have been meaning to bring back from the phenomenon that happened with COVID, where so many of these things kind of dipped off for a few years. And thanks to the library network, sharing the opportunity with y'all. We've gotten a great response so far, and we know it's going to make a huge impact on a lot of families and kids as we head into the end of the school year and summer here. Um, Brian is probably the person that most of you have been working with if you have signed up. So I'll pass the mic over to him. But really quick, my name's like DJ said, Bob Erland, and I'm Community Giving Manager here at Gleaners.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Yes, my name is Brian Sewell. I also work with Gleaners. I'm a community giving specialist. As Bob said, I've been in contact with a lot of you in terms of getting everything prepared, getting boxes to you guys, any other supplies. Some of you took canisters to collect monetary donations. I just wanted to, let you all know that we appreciate you, signing up. I know it's been a while since we did this. I think it was 2020 was the last time we held this food drive. And a lot of you are already aware, some of you are not. We've been doing this for quite a few years now. It used to be food for fines. Now we've, changed it to food for thought. I know a lot of libraries have moved away from fines. So we're just, trying to be inclusive with everyone, but still, give the libraries an opportunity to get donations for the community. We've been seeing, as all of you are aware, we've been seeing a lot of people who have been really struggling between, inflation and reduced COVID benefits that a lot of people were relying on for a long time. So it's just been really a double whammy, for a lot of families, just trying to keep up with everything. So we really appreciate you all putting this food drive, joining us with this food drive. It's going to help a lot of people. Looks like we have about 36 libraries in total between the library network and the Suburban Library Cooperative that have signed up. So that could potentially be a lot of food that we can distribute out to the communities that we serve. We currently serve. We work with 5 counties within Southeast Michigan between Macomb County, Livingston County, Oakland County, Wayne County, and Monroe County. So between those counties, we're looking at about 600,000 individuals who are dealing with food insecurity. And, that doesn't take into account all of, the people who stay under the radar and, they aren't accounted for. So that number is a lot higher than that. So again, I just want to thank everyone for participating. We've been doing this since looks like about 2013. Again, we stopped in 2020 because of the pandemic. So just thankful for everyone for signing back up. Hopefully we can collect a lot of food this year. And I believe it was 2019 we combined about 8,000 pounds worth of food. So I'm hoping that we can hit those numbers again, if not do better. But even if we don't, we're definitely thankful for any food that we get. They're always thankful at the warehouse when we bring back food donations, especially the pantries that the food goes back to. So again, I just want to thank everyone for signing up. Thank you everyone for being here. And I know Bob had some more he wanted to say, so I'll kick it back over to Bob.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. I put together a short presentation today. Really interested in hearing from anyone who wants to kind of jump in during the time we have today with questions about the food drive, questions about Gleaners, question about hunger in southeastern Michigan. I know with the audience we have on, you all probably love sharing information and helping connect people to helpful resources, which is why you're in this profession. So a big part of what Brian and I will be talking to you about today is not necessarily just the food drive and the need. We can touch on that and answer questions, but really trying to make sure everyone is comfortable, if you so inclined, with sharing different resources with your patrons who may be experiencing food insecurity or may have someone in their family or social circle who is experiencing food insecurity. So that's really kind of the need, what Gleaners does to help meet that need, what you all are helping Gleaners do to serve those people and meet that need, and talking about those resources. That's really what we had in mind to talk through today. So I've got 4 slides here to do that. And like I said, any questions, any comments, definitely would love to hear from whoever would like to jump in as we keep going today. So as Brian mentioned, Gleaners has the privilege of serving 5 counties in southeastern Michigan. That's Livingston, Macomb, Monroe, Oakland, and Wayne counties. In 2023, due to the general elevated cost of living and how food prices are 25% higher than they were in January 2020. Housing prices are much higher too. We've been able, through our network of supporters and volunteers, to meet the increased need. And last year in 2023, we served over 700,000 family or households in our service area. We're able to do this because of an amazing network of soup kitchens and pantries, schools, senior centers, and other agencies across our area, as well as our mobile distributions. In a little bit, we'll talk about how you can, point your patrons in the direction of finding one that's near them if they need emergency food assistance. And I don't know, there's a lot of different stats with hunger. I know I'm in a stat friendly group here, being librarians, but I definitely don't want to beat you over the head with it. But like Brian said, depending on the year, fluctuating around 500,000, 600,000, individuals in our area who face persistent food insecurity. And kind of most saddest of all, since I know I've got young kids. A lot of you work with patrons who bring young kids in. Over 130,000 children in 2021, according to Feeding America, Map the Meal Gap, experience food insecurity. Hunger and kids should just never be in the same sentence. So the timing for this campaign is really helpful for that part. As we get closer to the end of the school year, and as a lot of the pantry shelves that we work with may experience, decreasing supplies with kids getting out of school and not getting the free breakfast or free or reduced breakfast or lunch meals that they get at school. It's a huge need to meet every single year, and campaigns like this really help meet that gap. Going to move to the next slide here, but would love any questions or comments, anything around the service area, the partner network, kind of the general need of that we're trying to meet in southeastern Michigan. Any thoughts or questions on that?
If you have questions too and don't feel like going off mute, I'm reading the chat, so I can always read it for you.
And we'll definitely have some time at the end too for any questions that you may think of. It's never fun just being beat over the head with depressing stats of what this is. So, the best way to feel better is to take action, which y'all are doing as a part of this call and part of this campaign. Just some highlights here on this slide. I think the takeaway that Brian and I always talk about with the amazing groups we work with is, as best as possible, we try to follow the golden rule of we try to work with our partners and our distribution, our supporter partners and our distribution partners to put food on individuals' plates that we would want to eat too. It's not just about getting food and having whatever just to make sure someone's not hungry, but getting food that will set them up for success, in their community, in their family, in their classroom, in their workplace. To that end, a lot of what we do is focus on fresh produce, fresh meat, dairy. We have a very large food purchase operation that goes and finds, food available to purchase. We take advantage of industry connections and our bulk purchasing power to get that for very, very cheap and squeeze every cent out of every dollar. But that has to be supplemented by non-perishable food items that we work with on food drives like this. The choice that this provides, since when we get these large food distribution or donations from corporations, or when we do large purchases, we're purchasing the same items, more or less. We're trying to be as efficient as possible. So this non-perishable food collection part of what we do helps provide some really unique and really joyful experiences for the families who benefit from our food support. Giving them items that kids may not get regularly through our distributions. I know Brian and I could probably tell you about different instances we've had, helping support our actual food distributions of families being really excited about one item or another item. And it's those things that you take with you, and anyone on the call who may have had the privilege of working with a local pantry or soup kitchen or even a Gleaners distribution, you may have a similar memory that you have of that moment of sharing the food and the expression of gratitude and knowing what that food will mean to that family. That really sinks in. There's a lot of large stats here on this page that kind of speak to that on a really high level. But at the end of the day, it's those small personal experiences and knowing that we're able to again, through our amazing partner supporters, set these families up as much as possible, not just to be fed, but to be successful in whatever they're focused on. There are several stats here, and obviously we'll send this presentation after the fact. But does anybody have any questions on any of these?
There was just a comment from Southfield Public Library just mentioned, thank you for sending the link for the pantry network. People can put that up or near the food drive, but also in community information areas as well.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's something that I know, like Brian works a lot with our school food campaigns too. And this is, it's different, but there's a lot of similarities. Whenever there's a call to help others, we try to do as good of a job as possible working with our organizers to make sure that we're also offering help to people that need it, and not assuming that everyone's in a position to offer help. So absolutely, we're very lucky to work with the team that put together Pantry Net to make that information really accessible, whether it's just through the link or a QR code or however the patrons find it. On that note, if anyone has not seen Pantry Net before, it's built on a Google map. So we most of us have used Google Maps, but it's our, how you can create your own custom Google Maps. So it's nothing too technical. It gets the job done. I'd be happy to pull up Pantry Net really quickly here for anyone who hasn't seen it, and just do a quick test search for it. If I live over in Clawson, Michigan here, so if I was looking for food assistance near me, it gives the prompt that there are different resources up here available, which we'll talk about in a little bit. The default location radius is 100 miles, which isn't that helpful. So that is one thing. If you're ever walking through this with a patron, I would recommend pulling it down to 10 or 5 miles. And then you also do have the option of filtering by different days that they're open, different categories. So we have food pantries, which you can think of those as you're taking groceries home, shelf stable or otherwise. And a lot of times those are drive-through. A lot of times those are you go into the pantry themselves and get it. Sometimes they require an appointment, sometimes they don't. You can help your patrons filter by that. Soup kitchens, kind of speaks for itself. Prepared meals there. Mobile distributions, those are Gleaners mobile distributions, which we have a schedule for. which we can look at in just a quick second, shelters, and then just soup kitchens. So some are hybrid food pantries and soup kitchens, some are just soup kitchens. But with this information, I'm able to quickly see the newest, or not the newest, sorry, the closest sources of support nearby. And then I can click on read more and see if there are appointments required, what their hours are, the best contact or the best way to contact them, and then try to get in touch with them and get some emergency food assistance as needed from there. Any questions on PantryNet? Mobile distributions are another thing that really got off the ground during the pandemic, as I'm sure a lot of you might remember, either through volunteering or just seeing it while driving by or seeing it on the news. It's where cars line up, and there's a station of employees or volunteers who help load the food assistance into the cars as they go. This link here, mobile distribution events, will link to all of our upcoming mobile distributions here, so you can get a quick sense of what's coming up and help make sure that the patrons are aware of any mobile distributions coming up. Our team works really closely with community advocacy organizations and governments in the cities where we have mobile distributions too. But if that's something you would be interested in highlighting and promoting, this is a good link. We update it every couple of weeks. So it's always a good place to check, just to make sure that you're letting patrons know about stuff that's coming up. And then other food resources here. This is where we basically try to capture everything under the sun of what could be helpful for someone who's either trying to direct somebody to a resource where they can get support or looking for support themselves. 211, I know here in Clawson, that's a number that the library always publicizes. It's one that a lot of you may be familiar with. It's a great resource that we recommend, especially folks who don't have access to computers and maybe can't log on to PantryNet to call to get assistance. There are other hotlines here. Meet Up and Eat Up. This is a great summer program that we offer for kids who are missing those breakfasts and lunches that I talked about earlier. And then other more specific geographic resources here. So whether in Livingston County or South Wayne County, there's other places to find support. I do want to just call out Forgotten Harvest here as well. So they are a fellow food bank under the Feeding America umbrella here in Metro Detroit that does great work. They also have a similar list of upcoming distributions here. So I always recommend to anyone who is public facing to make sure you're connecting the people you serve with both resources. Forgotten Harvest has a lot of great stuff here, and Gleaners has PantryNet and the links associated with PantryNet as well. And the next slide up here is really just kind of collecting these all in one place to be able to send out after the presentation for easy access. But if anyone has any questions on the resources, really Gleaner specific, Forgotten Harvest, where I don't know if I could really answer any in-depth questions about their food distributions, but really anything on PantryNet or Gleaner specific resources, more than happy to field those questions as we wrap up the presentation here.
So if you have any questions, feel free and either shoot them in the chat or feel free and come off mute if you feel comfortable. Either way is fine. If you throw it in the chat, I'll be happy to read it out.
Hi, this is Mary Short from the Grosse Pointe Public Library, and I have been a Gleaners fan for many years. And we're, collecting canned goods. Are there any things in particular that you really need? And we also had a question about like items that are in a box, like macaroni and cheese, does that still count, even though it's not in a can?
Yeah, Mary, first and foremost, thank you for, supporting Gleaners and, in whatever capacity you've been able to over the years. That's great to hear. Um, we do have a wish list, and a lot of it boils down to um, canned items that are high in protein. We have a great nutrition team here who um, recommends that if they're low sodium, that's ideal, but that's by no means a requirement. We understand that that's not always possible. And yes, boxed items, macaroni, you know, cereal, things like that.
Okay.
Very, very popular, and kind of go back to that joyful experience of the families going through. And if they see like, they've got the canned green beans and stuff for health, but if there's a box of Lucky Charms or something too, like
Okay.
it's going to be popular. Um, Brian, feel free to jump in if you think there's anything more specific around our wish list that you think would be helpful for Mary to know.
Yeah, just peanut butter, that's another one.
Mm,
Protein shakes. It's always great to provide, bags of rice or pasta,
mm,
canned beans, um, canned fruit, items like that. That families are able to stretch. If it's maybe some rice and beans, that's something you could stretch for a couple days. Add some meat to it. So items like that are really helpful, and that's what we look for the most. But if they add other items as well that may not be included in that list, we take everything as long as it's non-perishable. Whether it's in a can or in a box, we will take it.
great. Thank you.
No problem.
And somewhat related to that, it's not something that we advertise, but we do get some questions sometimes of, is it okay to put personal hygiene items or like diapers or things like that in there? Again, we don't advertise that because we really are focused on distributing food, but we have partner agencies who will gladly take that. So if you get questions about that, or someone who says they would like to bring in some of those, we're more than happy to take those, and we will make sure that they get put to good use.
All right, we got some questions in the chat. So Kelly Skinner over at Belleville Area District Library is asking, they posted the flyers that were provided. We're wondering if there were any pre-made marketing materials like social media posts or Facebook posts.
That is a great question. I don't think we have any for this, but that's something that Brian and I have talked about for a lot of the different, community giving campaigns that we support. We would be happy to put something together like this. Just, we're participating in Food for Thought. Our collection dates are, and then if you're running for the full collection dates, you could just use the 18th to 26th standard. If not, then whatever you want. And then some language around, maybe the need and how this helps. That usually seems to go over pretty well. So yeah, we would be more than happy to put that together and share that with everyone who's signed up so far. If you'd like to use it, awesome. Feel free to make it your own. If not, no big deal at all, but happy to do that.
Then still getting more questions. Plymouth Area District Library is asking if you could share the presentation. I believe you said that was all right. Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
And then Nicole over at Carl Sandburg Library was asking, even if you don't have flyers or posts, can you share logos or any images? And I believe some of that is on your website. But if there's anything else, is that all right?
Absolutely. Logos would be great. I don't know how many images on our website would really be helpful for this, but we do have a bank of pictures from food distributions that are approved for public use. Brian, let's put together maybe 2 to 3 that we can send out that the partners can use in whatever capacity they'd like. If they want to make their own flyer, add those to a social post, that kind of speaks to the need and the impact of everything.
And then Kristen over at Livonia Public was asking when can we expect the boxes? For that, reach out to me. I'll make sure that we get you boxes in delivery. And then remind me how often the donations will be collected. And that is, we will collect, at the end of the campaign, but additionally, if you get boxes full before that, let us know. I have a good question. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, DJ. I was just gonna say on the collecting point, we'll probably be in touch within the next couple weeks to schedule the pickups just to make sure we have the time
Yep.
that best aligns with everyone and when you would like to pick that up. I know library hours are kind of different by the day, and we want to make sure we're being proactive with getting those scheduled.
Perfect.
Go ahead. No, DJ, sorry to have cut you off.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, so we talked about the campaign and whatnot. Let's say someone wants to volunteer with Gleaners. How do they get involved in that? What does that look like? I've done it before, but I'm just asking rhetorically.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'll start off with saying that in 2023, because of our volunteers, we were able to get the work done of around 25 full-time employees, which obviously every cent we're able to spend on food is always a priority. So they're a really big part of what we do. Our main volunteer opportunity is at our Taylor warehouse, which is over on Trolley. We have around 10 shifts a week there, morning and afternoon, which lasts around 2.5 hours, where you'll be put to work packing food and getting it ready for distribution. We also have ongoing food distribution volunteer opportunities, one of which that's kind of our flagship is in Southwest Detroit. And then there's other needs that pop up around our service area throughout the course of the year. Our volunteer page does a really good job, and I'll throw that in the chat right now, of making those shifts accessible. And then if you create a volunteer hub account, you can log in and see how many slots are remaining for each one. So if you find an opportunity that's nearby and has availability, the sign up process is pretty easy. If you ever have a group that you would like to get together with, our fantastic coworker Julie Tasnik works with making sure that the group experience goes well and that you have a reservation and everything is kind of clear of what to expect. So there's also a place on that website where you can sign up for a group shift and get in touch with Julie.
Perfect. Thanks.
Go
ahead.
Just one quick note on that, there's a lot of different ways to support the mission. We don't really have anything on our website that says this, but even just being an advocate, which you all are by merit of being on this call and participating, but just being an advocate for the people in our area, our neighbors who are hungry. If you post on your own social media, even if it's not tied to like asking for food drive donations or anything like this, just helping share that there are this many people in southeastern Michigan who struggle to put food on the table, and there are over 130,000 kids who face food insecurity. Just raising awareness and being that force within your own circles makes an impact that's really hard to quantify. So volunteering is awesome. We'll love to host you if you're available, but if not, there's a lot of different ways to support our neighbors.
All right. Any last questions? I want to make sure everyone in the chat has a chance to, or if you want to come off mute, you're welcome to.
Kristen, I just wanted to let you know I'll make sure to also send you a flyer in the pantry net link. I thought I sent that to you, so I apologize. So I'll make sure to get you that information.
Perfect. Oh,
Thanks for the work that y'all do. I just wanted to throw that out there.
We appreciate that, and it's the consummate team effort of thousands and thousands of people in our area who do their part. We're just very grateful to be in the position to put that support to good work.
well, thank you both. Thank you to Brian and Bob for going over everything. Remember that the campaign is still going on. If you haven't signed up, you still can. So let us know if you're still interested and you'd like boxes. And thank you to everyone who's participating. All right. Take care.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you.